Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight for the Transportation Infrastructure Durability Center Conference. We're really delighted to have all of you here despite COVID and despite all the issues about traveling. I try to travel from DC to Maine. I left DC, on Tuesday, hoping I'll be back in Maine on Wednesday. I didn't get back home till Sunday. So traveling is not a lot of fun these days. So thanks for coming. I know for those of you who traveled as well. It's really a great delight to kick off the conference tonight. We're gonna start off by a welcome from the University of Maine President, Ferrini-Mundy, in this. And then we're gonna have, I'll talk more about the conference after that. And then following that, we're going to have a presentation by a wonderful new guest here, Secretary Sheehan, and Commissioner Sheehan, who's here with us from New Hampshire DOT. She's an engineer and a project manager, and really understands how to build projects and get them done on time and on budget. She's also an innovator, so you'll be hearing from her right after dinner. So great to have you. So I'll go ahead and introduce our president. President Ferrini-Mundy. President Ferrini-Mundy joined the University of Maine as president of not only the University of Maine in Orono, but the University of Maine at Machias campus in July of 2018. In 2021, she was appointed as Vice Chancellor for Research and Innovation for the entire University of Maine system, for good reason. Under her leadership, she was able to get the University of Maine to become, for the first time in our history, an R1 research institution. That's the Carnegie R1 designation, which puts the University of Maine in the top 4% of colleges and universities in the US from a standpoint of research. That's a very major achievement. So thank you, President Ferrini-Mundy. And she got there ahead of schedule as well, in terms of where she'd like to do that. She, in July 2020, to ensure foundational inclusive excellence, and she's very keen on inclusive, and University of Maine being an inclusive institution, she appointed a 30-member council on diversity, equity, and inclusion at the University of Maine to advise the leadership. She chairs the University of Maine System Science Advisory Board, which was established to stay abreast of the fast-breaking scientific and medical developments in areas relevant to the universities and the COVID-19 pandemic, and gone through, if you wish, an exemplary move of the university through the pandemic to where we are today. Since 2020, President Ferrini-Mundy has chaired the University of Maine System Vaccination Planning and Partnership Task Force. When she became 21st president of the University of Maine, she's only the second female president of the University of Maine and UMM, University of Maine and Machias. She was before that the chief operating officer of the National Science Foundation. And that's a big deal. That's the biggest science investment foundation in the United States. And the fact that we're able to attract her to Maine has been a great thing for the entire state of Maine. At NSF, she also headed the Directorate of Education and Human Resources for 6 years before becoming the Chief Operating Officer. She has a distinguished career in mathematics education, STEM education, policy, and so forth, and has published more than 100 articles and has mentored over 10 doctoral students. After earning her PhD in math from the University of New Hampshire, she went on to Mount Holyoke College, and then ran and co-founded the Super Math for Teachers program. She's very keen on education and bringing research into the classroom, research education into the classroom. She is a native of New Hampshire. So commissioners, we have two New Hampshire, at least two New Hampshire natives here with us today. Her numerous awards and recognitions include the U.S. Senior Executive Service Presidential Rank Award of Distinguished Executive. And she was also at Michigan State Universities and earned a distinguished professorship there at Michigan. President Ferrini-Mundy co-chaired the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development for Mathematics Experts Group Program for the International Students Association assessment in 2021. She's the member of the National Academies Board on Higher Education and the Workforce. I can go on and on. So please help me welcome our President, President Ferrini-Mundy.
It's kind of an embarrassingly long introduction. Thank you, very generous. Good evening, everybody. I am just thrilled to be able to be here with you and to welcome people from around New England and from other parts of the country as well to the University of Maine and to Orono today for what looks to be a fantastic conference that you have coming up. So glad you're here, enjoy it. 48 hours ago, it would have been uncomfortably hot. Right now, it's perfect. And I'm sure you'll have a wonderful, wonderful time. Isn't it great to be able to be back together all in the same place? Really following, on the heels of the COVID interruption is what has been put into my notes. That's a good way to think about it. Getting together makes a very big difference. I'm finding in all of my interactions with people, the ideas flow more readily. The challenging questions come out and we get to work on them in these kinds of settings. So take good advantage of being together over the next day. Use the fact that the expertise, experience, and wisdom in this room is phenomenal. And you have a very, very important project here in the Transportation Infrastructure Durability Center. Do we just say TIDC or do we try to say that as a word? Just TIDC, that's good, okay. And in particular, welcome to those who come from the New England State Departments of Transportation, as well as the students who are here with us, research faculty, and industry leaders from across the nation. With this event, we not only recognize UMaine and the Advanced Structures and Composites Center, which I understand some of you have had the chance to tour that today. And it's always amazing. I saw it yesterday with a group of legislators and it's different every time. I mean, we pride ourselves here at the University of Maine and particularly in the areas of advanced structures and composites in evolving and growing, in reconstructing ourselves constantly to be able to solve the most challenging problems that we face in the region, in the nation, and of course, around the world. So you're a part of that with us and we're happy to have you here. We not only recognize that, but our 5 current New England partner universities and their contribution to TIDC's increasingly strong collective impact on New England transportation and its infrastructure. So the University of Vermont, the University of Massachusetts Lowell, University of Rhode Island, Western New England University, and the University of Connecticut. Could you just wave if you're from any of those places so that we get a sense? So it's a wonderful New England-based collaborative audience of participants, and I'm pleased with that. Here in Maine too, I'd like to take the time to recognize the very close relationship that we have with the Maine Department of Transportation and the leadership that we have from there, their willingness as an organization to push the envelope by deploying cutting edge transportation solutions such as the Grist Mill Bridge, which is not too far from here in Hampden, Maine. I want to thank all 6 New England Departments of Transportation and their partnership with TIDC. That's what makes this project work, is the extensive partnerships with so many different types of organizations. But for the DOTs, your guidance, financial engagement, and the leadership, particular thanks to the Commissioner of the New Hampshire Department of Transportation for her participation in this conference and your leadership in advancing transportation infrastructure technology. I've enjoyed looking quickly at the posters. I'm assuming there's a record of those where I could go back and read more thoroughly. But one of the things I love about the University of Maine is that we take our roots as a land grant institution very seriously. And I think our collaborators here in the room will understand and agree that we are practical in working to solve problems that will make life better for the people who live in our state, for the people who are using our highways and roads and bridges. And this project exemplifies that, in part because we are collaborating with all of you to find cutting edge solutions to enduring problems with solutions that will make a difference. So I couldn't be more pleased to get a chance to hear a bit more about this project, to see all of you, and to welcome you to Maine at a very beautiful time of the year. When I left Washington to come to Maine, and I'm from New Hampshire, so I knew Maine and I knew quite a lot about this area. I did have colleagues, and I hope I don't offend anybody with this, but who said to me, you're going to Maine. That's the place with 2 seasons, the 4th of July and the rest of the year. Well, in fact, you know, you can make of that as you wish, but it's a great time to be here. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, President Ferrini-Mundy, for being with us this evening. I'm going to go ahead and introduce the conference a little bit. And so today we've had a tour of the Composite Center. Tonight we're having networking, registration, and a dinner. And this is a program. So on Wednesday we have a lot going on. We're looking forward to the keynote speech here by Ali Kelly. Thanks for being with us, Ali. It's going to be an exciting presentation. Many of you have heard you before, and I look forward to your presentation today. We have also a full day of activities on Thursday as well, and looking at resiliency in transportation, geotechnical innovations. And then in terms of this conference, it couldn't have happened without a lot of people pulling a lot of effort into this. So I'd like to recognize the co-chair, Dr. Erin Bradshaw, but also Dale Peabody from the Maine Department of Transportation. Please raise your hands. Everybody recognize you. Dale here. Where's Dale? Dale, please stand up. Thank you, Dale, for being with us. Jim Bryce, who's really leading all the activities within the Transportation Center. Jim, would you please stand up and recognize you, Jim? Amanda Collmore, who's been key to the logistics of the conference. And Amanda, yeah, right in the back, and also a legislator in Maine as well. Vu Fan on the financials. Vu, see where Vu is? Yeah, right over there. And Jenna, are you there? Administrative and logistics, please stand up, Jenna. Thank you. Thank you for your help. And Aaron Shank on communications and marketing. Aaron, yeah, thank you very much for joining us. This conference wouldn't be here without all your hard work. Thank you. And in terms of the Transportation Durability Center, we've had a lot going on. We have over 60 research projects ongoing in all New England states today. Now think about that. That's a lot of research projects in a variety of areas making a big difference. But our goal is very simple, is to develop innovative and sustainable next generation solutions to improve the durability and extend the lifespan of our transportation infrastructure. New England is very unique because we use lots of salts on our road. We have a lot of freeze-thaw cycles. Our construction season is very short. So durability is a big important part to us. So we need a lot of innovations. So we don't have to keep replacing our bridges every 30 or 40 years, and our roads and so on and so forth. And the research ongoing, over 60 projects, go to the heart of trying to solve these problems. And what's really more important is that this research is ongoing hand to hand with the DOTs and working on solving the problems they really have. So we have the member universities, of course. I want to recognize all the universities, and soon we'll be joined by UNH. UNH also will be a partner in the next phase of the program as well. But these are the people who really make it happen. We have, I'll start with our Transportation Advisory Board. So Dale Peabody chairs our advisory board, but if you look at that, every New England DOT here is represented on the center. They help review the research proposal. They have developed the research directions for the program, make sure that they identify actually champions for each project within their DOTs to make sure the project actually is solving real problems that the DOTs have. Now that's very unique for us. It's none of the other transportation centers in the country that I know of does that. So every project has a champion within the DOT. So we have over 60 projects, over 60 champions working on these projects to make sure the projects solve real problems DOTs have. So I'd like to thank the advisory board members. So Dale Peabody, who chairs that, Andrew, Ann, Christus, Gregory, and Emily. Would you like to stand up and just be recognized? I know you're shy, but thank you. We couldn't do this without you and your partnership. Thank you. And then the people who really manage the project includes a number of faculty, and we've heard it from Jim Bryce, of course, that are, we call them thrust leads. We have 4 research thrusts within the center, and each thrust has a thrust leads, and you can see the thrust leaders up there. And each university has their own leader as well to make sure they coordinate activities within each universities. So that's how we're organized. So you can see the names here: Jim Bryce, Bill. I'm going to do with first names: Roberto, Aaron, Jonathan, Amanda, Vu, Ramesh, Suyang, Aaron, Mandar, and Mushi Shin. And would you mind standing up and be recognized for all the great work you're doing? Thank you. And again, this would not be happening with all your great work. And there's so much going on in all the 60 projects, but the projects are organized in 4 research thrusts. One, the bottom line is, how do we make bridges last longer? How do I make roads last longer? How do I build them faster? How do I reduce the carbon footprint is what we're trying to do. And to do that, the first thing you need to do is figure out what's going on that's wrong. So we have a team that's going out there and looking at all the bridges and all and developing methods to assess the conditions of these structures. The second thrust is developing new material systems so they will last longer. The third thrust is developing new structural systems and construction methods to build bridges and other structures faster. And finally, the last thrust is enhancing performance through innovation and safety, resilience, and connectivity, all the IT parts. So all of those are the 4 thrusts. But I want to show you 2 examples of things that we've done that really nobody else has done yet. One is the project that was, actually the idea came out with Dr. Roberto Lopez Anito and the Maine DOT. As you know, we're getting, because of climate change, we're getting a lot more rain, very heavy downpours in a lot of different parts of the country, and that's washing out roads and bridges. So what can we do to deal with that? So one of the ideas here was to put a 3D printed insert inside the culvert under a road. And that 3D printed insert starts with a circular cross section, as you see, and turns into an oval. And by going from a circle to an oval, it creates a Venturi effect. And that Venturi effect allows you to actually run more water through the culvert, about 30% more water through the culvert. So now when the big downpour comes in, you're less likely to flood the culvert and destroy your road. And so this is a 3D printed culvert. Dr. Roberto Lopez Anito is leading that project. Roberto, you want to stand up? Thank you for all your hard work on that. Yeah. And that project is essentially making a culvert in 3 or 4 pieces that you can actually easily insert under a road. And it's printed with 100% bio-based materials. So, and it's 100% recyclable. So you can put it under the road and have it sit there and increase the throughput so you don't wash your roads away. And then 100 years from now, if our children and grandchildren want to take the road out, they can pull the culvert back out, grind it up, and print it again one more time. Okay. And Dr. Roberto Lopez Anito is studying now how to recycle that 5 times over. So I have 5 different uses of the material. So not just our children, but our grandchildren and their grandchildren and their great-grandchildren will go down and hopefully be able to recycle these materials and reuse them. So this is very innovative, not only from a technology perspective, but 3D printing these things. Now, why 3D printing? Because every culvert has a different size. So you can go scan a culvert, essentially, and make a 3D print, a perfect sleeve insert just for that particular culvert and bring it in and put it in there. And that can be done. And think about taking that, not only, we started in Maine, but New Hampshire through their leadership here. Anne, thank you for your leadership. We'd like to recognize Anne at the New Hampshire DOT, who's been really a great partner. And she's trying that out pretty soon in New Hampshire as well. And hopefully take it across New England and beyond. So this is an example of a technology that we're very excited about. Another technology that is very exciting is a technology called the G girder bridge. G's for genius, right? That's the genius girder bridge. But this particular girder was invented at the University of Maine. We have a patent on, but was commercialized through advanced infrastructure technology. So we have here the CEO of Advanced Infrastructure President. If you want to stand up, Britt, and then many other board members of the company are here with us today. I'd like them to stand up. Here, Ken Sweeney, president of the company as well, formerly, of course, the chief engineer of the Maine DOT as well. And we also have other board members of the company here. Greg Netto, former administrator of the Federal Highway Administration, is on the board of the company as well. And this is a bridge that was actually fabricated in Maine, in Brewer, Maine, and shipped from Brewer, Maine to Fort Myers, Florida on 1 flatbed truck. It's never happened before. Very lightweight. This is two-span bridge, 2-lane, that you can ship just on one flatbed truck. It's because how light the materials are. So it's an example of the impact the Transportation Center is having on us. And today, as an opening for the conference, this was all not actually planned that way. But today, in less than about 5 hours, there was a bridge installed in Hamden, Maine. It's a next generation version of the G bridge. Actually, it's called a G-Whiz bridge in this case, because it's got two girders put together, double T's. And this particular bridge was installed with a relative lightweight crane. We're down there to look at that, and put in. They started about 10 o'clock or 10:30 in the morning. By early afternoon, the bridge was installed. That's an example of what has been done and can be done. Again, we couldn't do it without the partnership with the Maine Department of Transportation, who's looking forward in that direction as well. Thank you. And we hope a lot more of these bridges will be built, not only in Maine, but throughout the country. But these are just two examples of the impact the Transportation Center is having real time. And we couldn't be doing all this without also the American Composite Manufacturers Association, who's been a national, taking this technology nationally. And we have John Bassell there from ACMA. John, would you mind standing up and be recognized as well? Thank you for being traveling with us today.